Yo, 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 yo! Welcome to the Blue Lounge. Welcome to the stream. I hope you guys are having a good evening. I hope you guys are all having a good evening. Listen, I gotta tell you something, boys. This was supposed to be a watch along. I was preparing myself for a nice, chilled watch along. Chelsea versus Luton Town. But as I'm scrolling to look for the lineup, a club statement came out. A club statement came out that tells us and confirms to us what we've been hearing all morning. That Chelsea Football Club is about to get sold. We've been hearing reports, we've been hearing people being linked, being tied, being this, being that. Some fake news, some news that has a bit of potential, but we were all hoping that this will blow over and nothing like this would happen. But the club has released a statement by Roman Abramovich himself, where he addresses us, the fans, the people, the stakeholders of the club. I'm going to read that to you. And we're going to address it. And we are also going to discuss the game, and we are going to keep an eye on the game. But I want to show you guys who Roman Abramovich is and what Roman Abramovich stands for when it comes to Chelsea Football Club and what this club means to him. What this club means to Roman Abramovich. This is what I want to show you in the statement that I'm going to read out to you, and you can be the judge of it. Look, big up to everybody in the chat. Courtney, Varan, Sean Mark, Elijah, big up to all of you. But let's jump in and read the statement by Roman Abramovich. And Chris Couch, thank you for being here. Thank you for coming on to discuss this with me. Let's have a look at what this statement says. So this is the Chelsea website. Is it on the screen? Is it clear for everyone to see? Yeah, it's clear. All right. It's a statement from Roman Abramovich himself, literally 39 minutes ago. Let me refresh. It might be actually longer than that. Yeah, 50 minutes ago. 50 minutes ago. Club statement. What does it say? This is what Roman Abramovich has to say. I would like to address the speculation in the media over the past few days in relation to my ownership of Chelsea FC. As I have stated before, I have always taken the decision with the club's best interest at heart. In the current situation, I have therefore taken the decision to sell the club, as I believe this is in the best interests of the club, the fans, the employees, as well as the club's sponsors and partners. I have therefore taken the decision to sell the club. Alright? That's what Roman Abramovich is saying. Then he goes on to say, the sale of the club will not be fast-tracked but will follow due processes. We were all worried that because of the sanctions coming, Roman Abramovich may be doing this quickly and thus leaving the club open to issues down the line. If this is not done properly, if this was done in a quick manner, in a manner where shortcuts are taken, we could have issues down the line. And he's saying it will not be fast-tracked. It will be done following due process. I will not be asking for any loans to be repaid. Lads, I will not be asking for any loans to be repaid. 1.5 million is what the club owes Abramovich. I will not be asking for any loans to be repaid. This has never been about business nor money for me, but about pure passion for the game and the club. That is something he doesn't need to say because we've seen it in his actions. It's not been about money. And it's never been a business. It never has been. Not for Roman. I have instructed my team to set up a charitable foundation where all net proceeds from the sale will be donated. Listen, I have instructed my team to set up a charitable foundation where all net proceeds from the sale will be donated. Every single penny that is going to come in from the sale of Chelsea Football Club will be going into the charity that he is setting up, the foundation that he is setting up. And who is that foundation for? The foundation will be for the benefit of all victims of the war in Ukraine. He's selling the club, and the money that he is making from selling the club, he is donating the entire amount to the foundation that will be looking after the victims of the war in Ukraine. Do you understand what he's doing? We're talking, is he going to donate something? Is he going to do something for charity? Is he going to help the people in Ukraine? He's selling the football club, his passion, his joy, and the money he's making, he's donating that for the victims of the war in Ukraine. This includes providing crucial funds towards the urgent and immediate needs of victims, as well as supporting the long-term work of recovery. So, short-term and long-term issues of this war, in regards to the victims, he will be trying to support medical treatment, counseling, repatriation, whatever it takes to help these people, he's doing it. Please know, this has been an incredibly difficult decision to make, and it pains me to part with the club in this manner. However, I do believe this is in the best interest of the club. I hope that I will be able to visit Stamford Bridge one last time to say goodbye to all of you in person. It has been a privilege of a lifetime to be part of Chelsea FC, and I am proud of all our joint achievements. Chelsea Football Club and its supporters will always be in my heart. Thank you, Roman. Boy. What a statement. What a statement. And what a stance to take. And what a stance to take. I don't know, man. I don't know. Guys, tell me, how, Couch, Chris, how do you feel about this?
Big up, Mo. Big up, Chris. Hope you guys are well, obviously. We covered a lot of this yesterday. I didn't think it was going to escalate this quickly. Less than 24 hours later, here we are, right? This is a lot to take in right now. All I got to say is, if anyone had any doubt about what Roman's feelings were about this club, it's right there for you in writing. The man basically is saying, just forget these P's, man. 1.5 billion pounds, whatever, just done with that. Don't even need it. And you know what else? The price that I'm selling this club for, not even studying that either. Not even studying that. I'm going to donate this to the people that have been inflicted by this conflict in the Ukraine. Like, I can't tell you what that means. I can't tell you the ramifications of that. Like, let's think about, first of all, my worry was he was fearful of being outspoken just due to the fact that, like, Putin can just touch a man anywhere. He can get you anywhere. So this in itself is a statement that shows me that he's not really too concerned about that. This man said, you know what? I'm taking all of the money that I can actually make off of this club, and I'm putting it towards, making sure that the victims of this invasion are, in a better place after this is all said and done. And that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. The optics of it, everything. And secondly, I'm wondering now, like, obviously Roman Abramovich is 2 steps ahead of the UK government because, obviously he envisioned sanctions and whatnot and the potential seizing of the club. And with that said, what he's done is just shown that he's basically just protecting Chelsea Football Club. He's not about the money. He's just protecting Chelsea. He's like, he doesn't want the government to take over this club and move them to Scunthorpe or, like whatever. He's looking after the club, as a true steward, as a true owner. He's looking after the best interests of Chelsea Football Club by not allowing, the UK government to take it over and do whatever they want with it, So I can't say enough. Like, we're indebted to this guy forever, like at some point, I'm sure they're going to have to name a stand after him. I would hope that would happen. If not a statue, something of that sort. It's a small gesture considering what he's done, but that's something that you just have to see happen. If it's not Stamford Bridge, then a redevelopment plan where his name is somewhat affiliated with this club. Like, he is that important to not only our past but our future. Like, this is crazy, just crazy.
Look, Couch, you see, what he's done is totally with the interest of the club first. You see, he could potentially fast track this, sell the club, and get all of his money back, if not some of his money back, easily, within a few hours. These deals can be done quickly. Shortcuts will be taken, but it can be done quickly, and he could get his money, and he could walk away, and he couldn't care less what happens. Look, I was there, I did my my duty for the club, but now their government wants me out. Their government wants to hurt me. Is that the kind of respect? Is that the kind of treatment that I deserve to be getting from the UK government after all that I've done? He could do that, and he could walk away, and nobody will will think any less of him. What does he decide to do? He thinks, this is the club that I invested my time, my effort, my emotion, my passion in, as per his statement. He's decided, look, I'm going to continue with Chelsea. I'm going to continue supporting this club. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to say, look, the money I give you, that's a gift from me to you. And the money that I deserve, that I earned, that I'm going to make by selling this club, I'm also going to give that money to charity, to help those who are victims of this war that is being used to attack me. I'm going to be taking that money and giving it to those victims because they need it more than I do. That's what he's saying. He's saying, I don't need that money. I am above that. Let that money be given to those who need it. The victims of this war that is being used by Parliament. Today they were talking in Parliament about we need to stop him before he gets that money. He doesn't want that money. He couldn't care less about that money. He's giving it all away. He's giving it all away. Chris, welcome back, my brother. What's your thoughts on this?
First of all, pleased to be back in the Blue Lounge. I've been away for personal reasons, as everyone knows, but it's a pleasure to be back. I was hoping to be back on a what's the word, a happier note, but this is the way it is. I just want to say thank you to Roman Abramovich for everything, for the trophies, for the players, for the memories, for the managers, for the love and support that he showed my club, for the love and support that he showed the community around the club. Honestly, I can't put into words how much respect and admiration I've got for Roman. I mean, for example, 2012 Champions League, probably one of the best nights of my life. Looking in the crowd and seeing Roman Abramovich because he cares for the club. Essentially, I'm lucky. We're all lucky to have an owner like that because for me, I can think of a club that's had an owner like that not only puts the club first, but wants to succeed and doesn't really care about the money. Honestly, lads, I'm absolutely, I'm heartbroken. I'm gutted. I'm really, really gutted. I mean, I will miss this guy. And the last game of the season, it's going to be unbearable. It's going to be unbearable for me emotionally to see Roman Abramovich go. I can't see myself saying bye, but I've got to look for the future, because the main thing is Chelsea Football Club, essentially. I mean, there's a game kicking off in 6 minutes, but it doesn't even feel like that. It feels like the world's ended. Essentially, it feels like that. I'm so gutted. I thank you isn't enough for me to put to Roman, because everything he's done. Memories in football, we all love football. We all love Chelsea, right? My memories of happiness and joy is because of Roman Abramovich. And I'm so gutted. I'm so gutted. When I read the statement, honestly, tears were in my eyes. I was so sad. But the what's the word? The kind of nice thing about it all is that Club World Cup that completed all the trophies. So that's the kind of, on a happier note, he's leaving by winning every single trophy possible. So yeah, lads, I'm gutted, I'm heartbroken, and yeah, thank you, Roman, for everything. So yeah.
Yeah. No, listen. There is no way any one of us could have, contemplated that Roman Abramovich would take this kind of decision or this kind of stance. You see, one of the big factors of what he has done is as follows: the club will be sold to the right buyer. You see, if Roman was in a hurry to sell the club because of the sanctions, he would sell it to whoever pays the highest bidder. Now he doesn't have to do that. You see, this process could take a month or two, and it wouldn't matter, because sanctions or no sanctions, Roman Abramovich himself will not receive a penny. He will not receive a penny from this. So he doesn't have to, Chelsea, the club, doesn't have to be sold within a few days, a few weeks, to avoid the sanctions. No, the club could be sold next month, in 2 months' time, end of the season. Because right now, the club will be self-sufficient. The club doesn't have a 1.5 billion loan that they have to pay anymore. So that is already, free money that has been given to the club. I mean, I'm not sure how it's going to work financially, but that loan doesn't have to be repaid anymore.
Yeah, I hope to tell you.
And on top of,
advance into the quarter, it's going to be fascinating.
Sorry, Catch, was getting the commentary on my no worries. So that doesn't have to be paid back anymore, and now the club can sell at their own pace to the right buyer. We've heard a lot of rumors today about an Arab Saudi prince looking to buy. We've read about this consortium, American / Swedish or Swiss consortium looking to buy. They need to put a good plan, a good proposal for the club, because the club will be looking at the money as well as the mission statement, the agenda, the plan that they put forward. Yesterday, Couch Critic said, whoever's going to buy this club will need... Swish, look my way. Whoever's going to buy this club is going to have to put a plan and have to stick to it. And I said to him, look, with sanctions, Roman Abramovich cannot enforce it. But now, obviously he's a smarter man than me. He's a smarter businessman than me. And the way that he's done it, he can enforce it, because it's not Roman Abramovich who is the one receiving the money. It's a foundation. It's a charitable foundation. And that charitable foundation is helping millions of people who are suffering right now. That money is going to them. You know, we said this a lot on my stream. I said, woman is not a saint. He's not a saint because a saint would be a person who is immune for making mistakes. He's not a saint. But boy, what he's done there, that is something big. That is something massive. That is something massive. You know, I had a lot of love for Roman Abramovich. But after this, I don't know, man. I've just, Chris said, tears were in his eye. I was close to that. I was very close to that when I read that statement. It's a powerful, powerful stance to take. So respect to Roman Abramovich for doing that. You know, big respect to Roman Abramovich for doing that. Look, guys are coming in. Guys are coming in into the stream. And it shows, you know, there's a football game literally kicking off in about a minute. A very important FA Cup tie. But people are in here talking about Roman Abramovich. Like I said, I was supposed to do a watch along. And instead I'm talking about Roman Abramovich and his honourable, respectable stance. You know, I can't speak highly enough of it. Let me hear from Podfather and then I go to Julius. Podfather, welcome to the stream. Give me your thoughts on the situation, brother.
Whew, what a day, eh? You know,
Yeah,
the ups and downs. Yeah, so I was actually at the gym when everything came through. I was just seeing all the talk in the group chat. And so I went to read the statement. And, you know, it just like I had to read it probably like 2 or 3 times just to really understand what's going on, you know? And I'm not really the type that gets emotional about these sort of things. But I think that last paragraph, you know, when he talks about coming back to the bridge to, you know, say goodbye one last time, that one hits hard, you know what I mean? Because it's a human thing. Like any of us can relate to, you know, something you love and having to say goodbye, you know? God knows whether he'll be allowed to enter this country again, you know, going forward. So it's a real thing. It's not just, I'm coming to say goodbye and I can never come back again. But like it could be really to the point where he's not even allowed in here going forward, you know, due to like visa issues and stuff. So yes, it was very, it's very shocking, you know, in terms of the financial thing. It would be very interesting to see going forward. You know, I'm sure obviously he has a good team of lawyers. They've spoken. Obviously, the term that caught my eye was net profits. I'm not sure exactly what that means, you know, because will he get his money back that he purchased the club for? Not the money he's loaned, but the initial 150 million. I hope he does, but you know.
Pod, I don't think he even cares about 150 million when he's.
No, I know, but I hope he does. Yeah, I hope he does. Yeah, but listen, people don't understand. Like the situation is not a situation that could ruin him. And people are thinking, oh, just come out and, you know, tell Vlad to piss off. It doesn't work like that. Vlad has killed people. You know, I don't know. All the people are saying, oh, but he hasn't come out and say that he's against Putin. He has family in Russia. They can get killed tomorrow, carried off to the gulag. Yeah, I mean, so people just talk so recklessly.
Yeah, but you know what, Pod? You know what, though, Pod? In some ways, he has kind of said that, right? Like, piss off, because like look at the statement that he's making with the donation to the Ukrainian people.
Couch, even anybody questioning that, shows that they're unscrupulous characters. Because what would you rather have? You would rather have him criticize somebody or him give a 1.5 billion
I mean, it's still in contrast to what you would think the Kremlin would want to have done, though, right? Like, it's still a statement.
It is. It's embarrassing.
And like, if it's still a very, like, regardless of whether or not he's using his words and he's using his bank, you know, the bank is stronger than the word, to be honest. Like, he's put his money where his mouth is, more so than using, you know, words to say, well, this is how I feel, you know? So this is actually even more of a statement to the Kremlin than, you know, just actually being outspoken about it. You know, he's actually put his money where his mouth is.
I think also, you know, to really understand what's going on, you have to have been following, you know, geopolitics for years, or following Luton just scored. He has been following geopolitics for years, or, you know, like the politics over the last 2-3 years. Like it's become such a crazy place where, you know, government gets involved, big tech gets involved, and it's literally like you're only allowed to have one opinion on like a major issue. And if you don't support it, then you're excommunicated. You know, like in the group I posted, you know, EA Sports saying they're taking Russia out their games. Like, I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. You know, when you get to stage like that where video games, betting companies say they won't take bets on Russian athletes, you realize it's not obviously Roman is our focus, and there might be some MPs in England that definitely have an agenda against him. Yeah, and by the way, you know, just for context, it tends to be the Labour guys who have been pushing the hardest, not the Conservatives. Yeah, so I think it was Chris Bryant, and then today Keir Starmer.
Yeah.
If anything, whether it's because they got Boris by the balls or whatever, but he doesn't seem to want to act. But anyway, we'll see going forward. So the situation has just been very disheartening. I don't think anybody could have predicted this, you know. But once they decided to go make Russian enemy number one, it was inevitable that we're going to get to like stages like this. I think Usmanov at Everton as well, they're trying to kick him out as well. He's going to have to sell his 40% stake in Everton. They had to get rid of all their Russian sponsors today. I saw, so it's going to continue. It's going to be an ongoing thing. Pretty much anything with Russia at this point is completely blacklisted. You know?
Yep.
Yeah, the whole thing's just shocking. Hopefully one day he comes back, he buys the club again, and we move.
Hey, listen.
I was going to say, Roman, thank you for everything. For me, you are the Sir Alex of this club. Yeah, the way Man United look at Sir Alex Ferguson, you are the most pivotal.
Yeah.
Me personally, I don't know about anybody else, but
like
the history of Chelsea,
what a legacy are you gonna? I mean, whoever's gonna come in, they're gonna have to compete with that.
It's impossible.
All right, definitely one of the hardest
league the first
roles
time.
ever.
You know, it's impossible.
One of the hardest roles ever. Let me hear from Julius, and I'll go to Bobby. Julius, welcome to the stream. I know this is tough for you. You know, we've been talking backstage, and this has been painful for us to talk about. Let me hear your thoughts on this, brother.
Yeah, thanks, Mo. I wasn't even planning today to come on the stream as a very busy day, but I couldn't. I had to come and talk about it. This is a loss. We are in a loss right now. We will never be the same Chelsea we were before. Impossible. We're not gonna ever find an owner that loves the club the way Roman did. We will never find an owner that will treat the club as a family, as a community, not as a business. For someone who has injected 1.5 billion pounds into the club and not ask for it, this is mad in the business world. And I've never seen anything like this before. I don't think we will ever see anything like this before, and particularly in the football world. I've been entertaining the idea of him selling the club, but when I saw the statement, it hit hard.
Yeah. It felt like, wow, this is really happening. You know, we've been talking for a couple of days now. You know, this might be happening. But when I saw the statement, I'm like, wow, this is real. This is happening. You know, because before it was, what if, maybe? No, it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it hit home. It hit home painfully.
Yeah, exactly. It hit. I'm devastated. I'm fuming. Very emotional as well. Not sure how I will feel about the whole sport going forward, to be honest with you, with all the politics involved and the biasness against us. The other thing I want to mention, people saying his affiliation with the Russian government. Well, his daughter spoke out on Instagram. Him donating the net proceeds to the Ukrainian people is a huge statement, as you mentioned. What more do you want? I bet you anything, Roman. Yes, he's Russian. Yes, he's had deals, and I don't honestly, I don't know anything about his business in Russia and what he does, who he talks to. I don't know. I'm ignorant. I never was interested. I never looked into it. But when you look at the bigger picture, everything he's doing right now, what his daughter has posted on Instagram, you're gonna tell me his daughter did not consult him to post this? Something big like this. A daughter of someone who is supposed to be the right hand of Putin goes out and she posts something like that. Roman is not with this war. He has nothing to do with it. But what do you want him to do? No one can do anything. The guy is bullying one of his generals on TV. Putin was bullying his intelligence chief on TV. The guy is mad. And Abramovich probably has family in Russia. Do you want him to? What do you want him to do? He cannot do anything. His only punishment is that he is Russian, and he's had a certain relationship with the Russian government, and that is normal because he's a billionaire. He's one of the richest Russian, most successful Russian businessmen. Of course, he's gonna have connections in the government. That's normal. But that doesn't mean he has to be punished on something that he has nothing to do with it. There's no proof. He is getting punished because he's just Russian. That's it. And that is pure nonsense.
Tell me this. Which single individual on this planet is prepared to sell one of their biggest assets, all right, and donate that to charity for the victims of Ukraine?
Exactly.
And that is the individual that has been targeted for the war in Ukraine.
Exactly. But you know what, Mo? There is this. So they always said never bring politics into sports. They said that. Well,
They've done it though.
Yeah,
they've done it now.
Exactly. This is
what does EA? No, listen. Forget sports. EA Sports Gaming. What does that have to do with politics? Why are they doing this? Why?
Because it makes them look good.
Yeah, exactly. Marketing, PR. All right, now, did anyone do anything like that when people were getting killed in Burma, in China, in Afghanistan, in India, in Palestine, in Iraq? What is it? Because they're brown?
Yeah, it's crazy, and honestly, it's a loss for us. And yeah, I don't know what to say, honestly. There is a lot of politics involved now, and there is a huge agenda against Chelsea Football Club, and they could not wait for an opportunity to strike. And they took advantage because they know very well no owner on earth will treat his club the way this guy did for us. 1.5 billion pounds of debt cleared. And
Wiped off.
Unbelievable. This is unheard of. And the other thing, to donate his net proceeds is more than anyone else. This is huge. To the Ukrainian people who his supposedly affiliated government is killing. This is a huge statement.
You know, I'm going to say something. I'm going to say something here. Do you know that Roman Abramovich, by his own social culture, he's more Ukrainian than he is Russian? Do you know that?
His mom is Ukrainian.
Yes, and Roman is what? What's his religion? He's Jewish, right?
Yeah.
Now Jews, they take their heritage or their I'm not sure what the word is, but they follow the family of the mother rather than the family of the father. So for him, he identifies with his mother rather than his father, and his mother is Ukrainian. Therefore, he is as passionate about Ukraine as he is about Russia, because he's Jewish. That's his heritage from his mother's side.
Right, but that's where it ends, though. It's the heritage, right? It's the religious background. It's not so much what country he calls, his homeland, his motherland. Like he's Jewish, so he takes that religion from his mother, but man is Russian.
He's also Israeli.
There you go. There you go.
All right. Yep. Bobby Smoke Signals. Let me hear your thoughts and opinions on this statement. I know, Bobby, this is something that has caught us all by surprise. Even though we were expecting it, we were hoping it would never happen. So let me hear your thoughts on this, mate.
Yeah, I'm hurting.
Yeah.
I'm hurting badly, and I will, whatever the outcome, whatever happens, I'm going to have this in my mind for a very, very long time. The reason being is that, this has nothing to do with Ukraine. I'm not having that crap. It's got nothing to do with Ukraine. Probably a lot of the processes of all this is concerned. I need to be careful what I say here, but there are some people, some very powerful people that are pushing agendas. And let me tell you, if they choose to demonize somebody, you're done, basically, because they've shown, certainly over the past 10 years, that they are experts at demonizing people, discrediting, disassociating people. And this is what has happened to this man. Roman Abramovich, as all have been alluded to, he's a businessman. Of course, he's going to be in touch with the top echelons of his country. How do people attain wealth without rubbing shoulders with big top government? Big top government is what helps them, gives them contracts, opens doors for them. So guilty by association, all this talk that, he recommended Putin and all this and that. Do you know what? Even if he did, which I have sort of doubts, that's got nothing to do with actually what's happening now. At that time, a lot of Russia loved the man. At that time, we're talking it's more than 20 years ago. So they probably felt that with the direction Russia was going, which was supposed to be democratic, that he was the best steward for that, for their culture, and for them to sort of have a painless transition into a new way of life. That aside, I'm watching this Chelsea game, Orient have scored. The football has sort of taken second place for me at the moment. I watch football a lot now with no commentary anyway, even more so now. I look quickly at Sky Sports and the smirks on their dirty faces because this is what they wanted. They've got what they wanted. But you know what? There's a way life has a way to turn around and bite you in the ass when you're being a bitch. And I would not be surprised if this guy turns around and puts this club in the hands of people that are 20 times more wealthy than he is. And I would really love to see their faces then. I think what he's done about giving profits to the Ukraine people is more than class. And I bet you what, they're going to criticize him for that as well. They're going to say, oh, he did it for selfish reasons. He did it for this. He did it for that. He will never really get credit for anything because they're after him. And that's all there is to it. And that's why that annoys me more than anything else. The fact that, yes, he's done nothing but good for the club that I love, but the way he has been attacked, the way he's been singled out, the way they have, the knives have been drawn. And as, I think someone said yesterday, the vultures were circling is what I don't like at all. And that's what they've done to this guy. As I say, it's going to come back. There's a lot of people, groups in the sporting circles that when this comes back to roost on them, I'll be one of the ones laughing.
Yeah, it's
Mo,
it's a lot of hate.
Also,
Go on.
it's not just 1.5 billion he's given up because the club is actually worth 2 to 3 billion. So that's the figure he's walking away from.
Yeah,
Not
he's basically he should take 1.5 billion as the money that he's paid in, plus whatever extra money is to be given as the value has increased, as the club has increased in value. So ideally, because we don't know, he turned down 2.2 million. So ideally, he could be he could be earning 3, which is 100% profit on his investment, 1.5. But he's giving that all to charity. He's giving that all to charity. The 1.5 that he is due to get, he's not taking, so that stays with the club. And the rest of the money is going to be, and I think that's the net profit that we were talking about. Because when we're talking about the word net profit, is whatever is on top of that, on top of the 1.5, and that's going to be going to charity. It's amazing. I mean, who would do that? Who would do that? I mean, am I right in saying, correct me if I'm wrong, but his net value is 13.5 billion, correct?
Yeah.
Right, so if his net value is 13.5 billion and this club is 3 billion and he's not taking that money, and he is currently going through a very, very hard time, because don't forget, he's got assets all across the world, and a lot of these assets are going to be under similar situations with him. So he is literally losing a big chunk of his wealth right now. And he's donating to charity here, to charity there. It takes a big man to do that. It takes a massive, massive heart to do that as well.
Well, listen, once they start saying no more Russian standard vodka in stores, that I'm telling you that they banned it. They banned it in a lot of countries in Europe already. Yeah, they're going for literally everybody. They're going for broke because it's an easy topic to win on, because everybody has this version of Russia in their head. Some of it is well earned. Some of it is is a bit hyperbolic or over speculated on or whatever. But it's such an easy vote winner. Yeah, both parties dislike Russia, whether it's Labour, whether it's such an easy topic for them, and they're gonna ride this thing all the way to the end. It is totally the wrong way to do it, and it's very short-term thinking, and it will all come back to bite them eventually. Because you can't treat people like this, because when the shoe's on the other foot, which it will be, yeah, when Britain gets in a war that nobody likes, or America or this. The same people are going to be asking all these questions when that happens, and it's not going to be easy. You might see some revolutions. It's not going to be just like before, because we've seen you now. We've seen the power that you can do against one country when you want to. So when those other things happen, and people talk about Yemen and stuff like that, like America is selling weapons to Saudi Arabia. Like they're involved in it, so they're not gonna bring it up. They're not gonna mention it. They're fully behind it. It wasn't even really that much of an issue when they wanted to take over Newcastle. It was more about pirating. the Premier League. That's why they had to pay $1 billion. That was the real hold up. It wasn't about anything they were doing in any other country. So.
Just,
I mean, one second, Julius. In regards to Rory Jennings, I couldn't care less what he's saying right now. I'll be honest with you, I could not care less what he's saying. He's always had it for Roman, and now he's got his wish. Roman is leaving. He's got his wish. He'll be gloating, so I'm going to assume that's what he's saying. I don't really want to listen to that. In regards to Daniel Crane, Mo, check what I just retweeted. DM me, Daniel. Just send it to me via DM. I have a lot going on right now on Twitter, so just forward it to me via DM. Go ahead, Julius. Sorry, mate.
I just wanted to say about Rory. You just said it well, Mo. Whatever. I'm not gonna get into it because it wouldn't be nice. So, the other thing regarding Saudi Arabia, I'm from the Middle East, and I have a lot of context of what's going on in this region. There is a lot. It's a lot more complicated than what it looks like from the outside. So there is a reason why Saudi Arabia is doing what they're doing. It's not justifiable, but there are very understandable reasons in terms of the politics. But the biggest problem is not what they're doing. When it comes to football, why do we want to involve politics in football when it comes to hurting Chelsea, and we don't want to involve it in other places? So we either involve it in every case, or we don't involve it at all. This is the problem I have, because I had issues with certain things Roman Abramovich did. I never talk about it. Mo, you never talked about it until recently, because we never like to mix football with politics. They are doing it now to hurt the club, because there is a lot more into it than the Ukrainian crisis. They have always had issues with Roman Abramovich being an owner for Chelsea. They cannot accept Chelsea being a big club and a successful club. There is a huge agenda. You could see it on the media. You could see it on the pitch, the referees. You could all over the place. City, for example, is owned by a billionaire. PSG is owned by a billionaire. Nobody gives them the hate that we get. We get so much hate. And you could see it even from rival fans, not only on TV. We are so hated to a level where it's unbelievable.
So, you see this Rory Jennings fella, right? I've had enough of this guy, personally, right? Because this guy's opinions is very embarrassing, to be honest, right? So, see in 5 years' time, he'll be, I can guarantee you, he'll be one of the ones that's begging Roman Abramovich to come back. So, see all these people that, wishing Abramovich out of the club. To me, I said it in the group chat, they're embarrassing in my opinion. I can't thank Roman enough. In terms of the media, right, what Bobby said about the media, I'm not even going to listen to the media anymore, because I'm not going to be listening to Jamie Carragher talk about respect. When does he forget what he done? Yeah, when he got cancelled from Sky. So he needs to take a leaf out his own book and practice what he preaches, because I think he forgets what he done, when he started to spit on a guy and his kid in a car. So Jamie Carragher, for me, can't be talking about respect. Yes,
or even when he wore Luis Suarez's shirt.
Exactly, against Patrice Evra. Exactly.
I hear you, Chris. I hear you.
Hold on,
just
one thing before we go to Carragher. In regards to what's going on in the Middle East, in regards to Saudi Arabia, in regards to turning a blind eye. Julius says he understands why Saudi is doing what they're doing. I don't understand it. I don't think that there's any way you can excuse what they're doing, because it's a conflict in another country that you're interfering in, and you are becoming the main aggressor in that conflict because you want to support a certain faction in that country, and that is being funded and being backed by the people who are currently attacking Roman Abramovich. The UK, America, the Western countries supporting Saudi Arabia in that fight because they think there's a proxy in that fight, which is a country that they're all against. That same regime is the same regime that killed a journalist in an embassy, a person who has American residency, who works for the Washington Post, who walked into their embassy in Turkey to do some paperwork for his passport or whatever, and he walked out in pieces. That is who we're talking about. And that is the situation we're in right now. And you're comparing Roman Abramovich with that. Roman Abramovich, his issue, and as far as I'm concerned, it's a big issue, was him backing the Israeli settlers in moving Palestinians out of their homes and giving that land and that area to Israelis. He was backing that. Big problem for me. Big issue for me. But that, when you compare it to a war that is being funded and that is being backed and murders that has been happening left, right and centre, that really just happens?
Beautiful.
Stay where you are, man. Stay where you are. Don't even comment on it. Just stay where you are. You're on a great mindset right now. Everything you're saying is bang on. I love it. Continue.
Yeah. So,
what's all the guess?
Saldigas just killed it, man. It just destroyed my train of thought. But that's what I'm trying to say. We're comparing Roman Abramovich with these people. No, it's not the same. It's not the same. I'm sorry. Roman Abramovich has done things that I am not happy about, but they're not on the same level as these guys, who I am ethnically the same as. They're Arabs, I'm an Arab, but I got to speak what's right and condemn what's wrong. And what they're doing is wrong. I don't care if ethnically I am the same as them. What they're doing is wrong. But Roman Abramovich is also, what he did in Palestine is wrong. But, it's a different type of comparison. So I just wanted to say that. And again, this is something that is always going to be taken further because everyone has their own opinion. And it is subjective to a certain degree. Couch, I interrupted you, my man. I apologize.
So,
go ahead, Bobby.
I was just going to say that I agree with what you're saying 100%. And I don't think that our allegiance to Roman as an owner should cloud our judgment about some of the things that he's done in his life. I'm sorry, you can't ignore that stuff, and to say, well, it doesn't matter because these people are doing this and those people are doing that. That's irrelevant to me. I'm sorry.
Ignore
if it puts me in the minority as far as Chelsea supporters go, I don't care. I look at these things and I see the atrocities that are being committed right now. And it hurts me. It pains me. Whether or not Roman Abramovich is directly involved in any of these particular conflicts, he does have a hand to play in it. He is connected to the Kremlin. He is connected to Putin.
How?
We can't ignore these things.
How?
How? What are you talking about? How? You don't know how?
I asked you a question. How? Answer it.
He's one of the Russian oligarchs that was responsible for bringing to what's his name, Yeltsin, his name. That's how he's connected to.
Okay,
him.
what was the circumstances with which that happened?
What does it matter? What does it matter?
Of course, it matters.
Okay, explain to me why it matters.
No, but Couch,
why it matters.
Couch. Even if that was the case, what does it have to do with Ukraine and now?
Exactly.
Let's go back to what you were saying earlier, Bobby. Let's go back to what you were saying earlier. Why does it not matter? Why does it not matter?
Because there's a lot of witch hunting going on here.
Couch
looking for a scapegoat. Look, let me say this, right? I don't particularly know that much about Palestine and the Middle Eastern conflict. I don't really have any dog in that game. And the whole thing just seems like a very sad situation to me. But as we all know, Mr. Abramovich is a Jew. And they do have a dog in that game. And when people have religious convictions, they do things that may not appear to be fair to those of us that are not of that conviction and are not directly involved. Now, there is no party in that setup that hasn't done something somehow somewhere to alleviate what they feel religiously is the right thing to do. That's got nothing to do with this. That's got nothing to do with this at all. And one thing I will say, you see, all these people baying for blood for this guy, so to speak. Roman Abramovich has done nothing but good for this country. Nothing. And this kind of represents a bit of a stab in the back for him. And you see, I'm a believer that, blood is a very, very sacred medium. If you do something to somebody or swear under the backdrop of blood for somebody, you are really putting some kind of curse on yourself. This thing that has happened to this man will certainly come back and bite all those involved. As far as this situation is concerned, I'm convinced of it, because what he's done is good for this country. He's not a saint, but who is? The Palestinian situation, I don't know about it. Maybe, as Mo says, Mo's my friend, I go with what he's saying. But I can assure you, I know a lot of Jewish people as well that feel very, very strongly on religious grounds about that whole conflict. And I stay away from it because I've got nothing to do with it. I don't particularly understand it, and I'm not in a position to judge it. So you coming on here saying, "Oh, he's done this," and you can't actually really name what it is.
Bobby, honestly, you already said you don't understand it. So the fact that you're continually trying to attack me
come on,
my beliefs and what I understand of it,
you're deflecting.
You know what, dude? It's okay. I understand. You want to protect the club. You're about women because you won some trophies. You're not looking at the geopolitical situation at all. I'm different to that. You can attack me all you want. I'm different to that. I look at the context as they come to it.
Couch. The whole point of this stream is
completely different to how you see things.
Yeah,
but don't try to attack me because I don't share your point of view.
Wait. Let's get back to the stream. Yeah. So basically, we're all letting and bringing different perspectives. From now, as I was saying about him. Let's take Couch's point. It's true. He's the one who recommended Putin. I say again, what does that have to do with Ukraine now?
He's being targeted for no reason. That's what it is.
Listen. I want to just say this. Look. What Couch is saying is true. But what Podfather and what Bobby is saying is also true, because where we are today, what is happening today, what decisions the president of Russia makes, has nothing to do with Roman Abramovich. If I was to recommend Bobby for a job, because I know Bobby's a good lad, and I know this company's hiring, and the person who's hiring is also a mate of mine, I said, look, Bobby is a good lad, he'll do this job well. Bobby then gets employed by this company, and then, a few years later, Bobby starts to make mistakes. It starts to not turn up, and it starts to, take the piss at work. Is that on me? No, it's not on me. It's on Bobby. It's on Bobby. What Bobby does is on Bobby. And if the owner of that company then sacks Bobby, that has something to do with me. And that's what and that is what is happening. And to be fair. Look, Putin and Abramovich are mates. They have got things that link them. Maybe business dealings. Maybe a political affiliation. There are things that link them. However, to target Abramovich for the mistakes and for the actions of Putin is done for one reason only. This is the weapon that the West is utilizing to fight Russia. Let's be honest about it. The West is afraid to engage Russia militarily because of this conflict then blowing into every single corner of the planet. And they don't want to do that because they want to avoid, what's the word here? Escalating the situation like that. They don't want to do that. The West does not want to escalate. And let's be honest. We don't want this to escalate. Nobody here wants to see this escalate. We want to see this resolved in the most peaceful manner possible. So what does the West do? What does America, England, NATO, what do? They have to do something. And what they decided to do is to put sanctions against Russia. And like I said in previous streams, sanctions are a tier system. They happen at different levels and they are effective at different levels. The West has now pretty much destroyed the currency of Russia. Their stock market is on the verge of collapsing. Russia is suffering, but the West hasn't fired a single bullet in anger. And the way they're doing that is by limiting the power and containing the money that Russia has. Now, Russia doesn't have all of its money in a central bank. It has all of its money in businesses, in big organizations. And it isn't just Russia. Every country on this planet, even the UK, we have big companies that are tasked with a lot of the financial aspects of our dealing in regards to the manufacture industry, in regards to the import-export industry, in regards to transportation, everything. There's big companies that deal with that. And Abramovich is a big Russian businessman. So he is being targeted as one of many. The difference is we are Chelsea fans and he owns our club. Therefore, we are feeling the pinch directly. It's affecting us directly. And this is the problem that we are facing. Now, another aspect of this, and this for me is the taking the piss, is the way that the media and our government is making it personal to Abramovich, because he's the one that they're talking about all the time. They're not talking about X, Y, and Z oligarch. They're talking about Abramovich every single time. They're talking about him and making him the target. And that, again, has a ripple effect on Chelsea Football Club. And that is why it's hurting us as Chelsea fans. Now, let's not lose sight of where we are right now. Let's not lose sight of this statement. This statement, Roman Abramovich is telling you and me and everybody else what's in his heart for Chelsea Football Club. What he has done. And I don't care if you love him or hate him. I don't care if you love him or hate him. Doesn't matter to me. But what's in his heart, and if you love him or hate him, you're going to have to admit this, is love for Chelsea Football Club. The team we all love, the team we all support. He loves that team. He loves that club. And the fact that he has seen success come to that club is because he was doing whatever he was doing with passion. He wasn't sacking managers because he wasn't happy about the performances. It's because he knows that the fans need better. They demand better. They deserve better. And he was always giving us better. When he bought Lukaku, it's not because he thought Lukaku was crap. It's because he thought Lukaku was going to do something. When he bought Kepa, when he bought Havertz, listen. And today he's showing you, I don't care about all these millions. 1.5 billion pounds. Keep it. It's yours. I don't care about it. And you know what? The only money I want to make is enough money to set up a charity to help the victims in Ukraine. That's where we are. That's what we're saying. That's all it is. You got to understand that. You want to hate him? Look, I told you. I am not happy with what he has done in Palestine. But that's neither here nor there when it comes to Chelsea Football Club. I've had debates with people who have attacked him for that. I'm not going to defend him for doing things that I don't agree with. But I'll tell you something. He's done a lot that it's not a matter of agreeing. I love what he's done for Chelsea Football Club. Chris said to me when he read that statement, he almost cried. I swear to you, if it feels like I'm losing a family member with him leaving. I'm losing a friend. I've never met him, and I will never see him. But the fact that he's telling the club, I feel like I'm losing a friend. That's how I feel right now. And that is what I'm talking about. And that is why I'm angry and I'm unhappy because of that.
Look, this is the last time I'm going to be talking about the media situation, right? So, look, I said
no, Chris, talk about it, mate.
This
stream, listen. This stream is about Abramovich. Okay, this stream is not about football. It's about Abramovich and the situation with Abramovich. So I don't care. If people don't want to watch it, don't want to listen to it, I couldn't give two. This stream is about where we are.
Yeah.
So talk about it.
So I said at the start of the stream, obviously my love and admiration. Look, I love Roman Abramovich, and I always will. I'll miss him forever. It's as simple as that. And the day, the last game when he, comes to say goodbye at Stamford Bridge to all the Chelsea supporters, it's going to be unbearable for me. Honestly, I love the guy. Look, this excuse, I'm saying it, this excuse from the media where they say, but Abramovich has connections to Putin. For me, that means absolutely nothing, because you can have a connection, it means nothing. Roman Abramovich is not the one invading Ukraine, right? And the fact you can even see the fact that Abramovich doesn't agree with it by donating billion to Ukraine crisis, yeah. So this is what I'm saying. People thinking he's with Putin here. No, Putin's his own man. To me, he's just an absolute madman, and he's decided to do this for his own ego and his own greed. So, and the fact that the media are trying to attack Roman Abramovich instead of looking at the bigger picture and looking at Putin, they're trying to assassinate Abramovich's character. It's disgusting and it's disgraceful, and it's an absolute shambles. The whole situation, and the media should be ashamed. They should be ashamed, but they won't be ashamed. And that, for me, I don't agree with. So, look, I can't say it enough times. I will miss Abramovich. I will miss him so much.
I guess, Mo, what frustrates me in all of this, and is that you gave your reasons quite clearly as to what you feel that Abramovich had done to aggrieve you, and quite rightly so. You share a similar heritage and religion with the Palestinian people, and that situation that disadvantaged them, of course you're going to feel it. But what I was saying was quite simply this. I have learnt not to judge a man for his actions due to his religious convictions. It's a very gray area, because in his mind, he's doing what's right by God. And you, from your religious background, I believe you would understand that. And so I can't say for sure, especially as I don't have any dog in the game, that I can hold that against him. You know what I'm saying? People have been displaced. There's all sorts of religious stuff going on there that I cannot understand, because neither of them is my religion per se. However, it doesn't take away from what is legitimately right or wrong as we see it on a human surface. But as some people see things because of what they feel God is telling them, that's another whole ball game. Now bringing it to this situation, which I think is where we should be focused on. None of these people that are trying to hate on Mr. Abramovich and say, oh, he did this, he did that, he did the other, can categorically say what he has to do with Mr. Putin right now. None of them. Because he hasn't got anything to do with Putin right now. If he does, okay, fine. We stand corrected. He should be whatever. But he doesn't at the moment.
Bobby, I'm gonna interrupt you for 1 second, because that is a very good and valid point. Very good and valid point. And let me say this: Chris Bryant in Parliament was saying he did something in 2019, which he admitted to in court.
Yeah, I'll come to that.
And that is all he was highlighting.
Yeah.
Now that in itself is it's a criminal offense. It's a bribe. It's whatever. But that in itself does not come with a punishment of you paying a 2.5 2.5 or 3 billion pound fine. You know what I mean? So for you, you know, when you want to talk about, you know, mistakes, also talk about the repercussions and the punishments. And I think, you know, if it takes a member of parliament that all he can say about Roman Abramovich is that he, you know, admitted to paying money for political favors or political whatever, if that's all that they have against the man, then I'm not sure, you know, the punishment quite fits the crime, if you know what I mean.
Exactly. You know, there is the whole injustice of all this is that some people somewhere, for just personal reasons, have looked at this man and decided, right, let's get him. I don't like his success. I don't like his money, because they're always talking about his money as well. I don't like the fact that he has a yacht, or he has beautiful wives. And this is what this is all about. And this is my complete resistance to it. Because on the platform of all of this is a man that, what has he done? He's done good with his money by the Chelsea community. He's done good with his money by my country, the British government, the NHS. He's done good with his money by the Cobham community. And dare I say it, he's done good with his money by the club that I love and he loves. This man clearly has shown us beyond any reasonable doubt that Chelsea is in his heart. The way he's run the club, what he has pledged when the club is sold, if there's a profit, everything. And still, we have people coming out and saying, no, but Romans this, Romans that, Romans that, without proof. That's what hurts me. And that's why I defend him so vehemently, because it's witch hunting. It's got nothing to do with nothing. It's just their own personal issues. And when it comes to Chelsea fans doing it, they're virtue signaling. Oh, look at what a good, fair guy I am. You don't even know what you're talking about. And you're coming to these conclusions that you can't validate. That's my annoyance. You know.
Yeah, I want to address the super chat. Well, let me address the super chat 1 second. $200 super chat from Damien Bogle. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the donation. But I think you're mistaken in what you're saying here.
He did say that, and then he later said that the guy was the devil and he had nothing behind his eyes. He said that at first. The first meeting was like, I trust this guy. I can work with him.
No. Listen. I've not heard this before, but I'm going to address it from what I know about the person who's saying this statement. He says, President George Bush once said this about Putin. Who is President George Bush? And I don't know if he's talking about junior or senior.
No, it's talking about junior.
Junior. Like,
yeah.
The person who claimed that my country had weapons of mass destruction. The person who is responsible for the killing of 1 million Iraqi civilians. So this is the person who's making the statement. So just put that into context. What did he say? He says, and talking about Putin, I looked the man in the eye, and I found him to be a very straightforward and trustworthy. Okay? So the person who's killed 1 million Iraqis thinks Putin is trustworthy. All right. We need to all remember many world leaders like Putin when he first was elected. Yeah. Tough guy. Good charisma, good personality. One that seemed to be open to working with the West. So, times change. Abramovich should be punished. Now, tell me, what do you mean by Abramovich should be punished? What is it that Abramovich...
He says should not be punished.
Where does he say should not be? Abramovich should not. I do apologize. He
basically saying that at one point people were praising Putin.
Exactly. That's the point we made.
Bogle, I apologize, Bogle. I totally misread that.
That's what I was telling Couch. You know, Couch talking about crucifying him because he recommended him over 20 years ago. That's insane.
No, but Bobby, I completely agree with you on this, and that's why I wanted Crouch to stay, because by us speaking, you actually learn these things, and hopefully he's watching somewhere. Now, I don't,
because he was wrong. That's why.
no, but he just got emotional. I don't want to say he ran away, but my thing is, I'm not a politics expert, but I have followed a lot of the, geopolitics for a long time. And if you know the history of the oligarchs, people forget, like when Roman first bought the club, there was all sorts of profiles written on him, all sorts of information when he first comes to the club. And if anything, he's more attached to Yeltsin, who rather than Putin. So basically, when Russia falls and Yeltsin takes over, Russia goes from being a communist country to being almost like a rogue capitalist state or whatever. So certain individuals who have proximity to power tended to benefit from getting the contracts and all that, and that's how a lot of them made their money. Now, a lot of those oligarchs in the 90s and early 2000s were influential. But anybody who follows geopolitics has shown that every year, especially since Putin has come to power, he doesn't even consult them. This is like a Western media trope that's been created, yet to justify all these sanctions and what they did. These guys, his inner circle is not made up of these guys. He doesn't call Abramovich to strategize about invasion plans or military actions or anything like that. He's killed many of the oligarchs himself. He's imprisoned them. You know, like these are not his inner circle. Some like they're puppeteers from behind the scene controlling him and anything like that. No, and if you know the way most countries work, people pay for influence. What do people think lobbyists are? Yeah, you go to the government. You say, listen, we're willing to invest if you pass this law to help us with this, that. It just baffles my mind that people are so easy to get caught up in all these word games and try and use to try and justify going against Roman. Yeah. Now, at the end of the day, they're trying to hit pretty much. And I think I heard an MP saying if you have the Russians should be allowed to go to the schools. So it's not just Roman. Like it's literally everybody. Now, obviously, I had thought that Roman would be in a position to maybe fight this or challenge this or you know, with his influence, his money. Like it's not just going against some sort of normal citizen, because they would have to prove he's done something wrong before they can. That's what I hoped. But the weight of public opinion right now, because most people that speak about Roman Abramovich are not football people. They've never even heard about him before this whole thing goes on. All of a sudden, he's now the enemy because he's probably the most famous Russian in London. So all of a sudden now he's a target, you know. So for me, it's just baffling everything that's going on. But I would employ Couch. Couch has made his stance clear. He's human rights is the line for him that he won't cross, and that's what he's putting as.
And I respect him for that. I totally respect him.
I do as well.
And I love Couch for that. But the thing is this, I have to say this. Look, Couch, if you're listening, because you should be, you know, it's a good stream. If you're listening, Couch, do me a favor and come back and put your point across in regards to what it is exactly that you're alluding to in that. Is it because of that particular stance that he gave a recommendation for Putin, or is there something else in respect to human rights abuses? Because if you know something that we don't know, I'd love to hear about it. I would love to hear about it.
No, I want to add a couple of things. There is nothing worse than building and funding settlements in the 21st century. That's all I have to say. There is nothing Couch can bring on the table about his connection with the Russian that is going to be worse than funding a settlement in the 21st century. Nothing.
Yeah, but Julius, that is fine. That is fine. But what does that have to do with what's happening with the club right now?
Exactly. Absolutely. That's exactly what I mean. It has nothing to do with it. We never brought it. We never talk about it. I want to allude back to a couple of things regarding human abuses and human rights. I've been seeing a lot of attacks, for example, on the Qataris with the World Cup. Should we have boycotted France from killing 1.5 million Algerian? Should we have boycotted the French World Cup? Why is nobody talking about this? Why is it when an Arab nation hosting the World Cup, everyone now all of a sudden becomes a pro-humanitarian? Should we boycott the British government or the British from anything because they have killed and colonized the world for centuries? And not long ago, they were big contributors to the Bengali famine. Should we also boycott England? Should we boycott the US for invading many countries and killing millions of people and displacing these people around the world? Or is it just when an Arab
Julius, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm going to say this because a lot of people don't know this. In 2003, Saddam Hussein was ousted from ruling Iraq. A new government was put in place, largely a government that is pro-West. Iraq, up until a couple of months ago, was still paying Kuwait compensation for what Saddam did in 1993. So we are in 2022. A government that is run by people that have a disdain and a hatred for Saddam Hussein. Most of them were imprisoned, killed, executed by Saddam Hussein. They had to pay Kuwait back for what Saddam Hussein did to Kuwait. I love my Kuwaiti brothers. And I am sad for what Saddam did to them all that time ago. However, my generation is the one that paid for his crimes. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning this is because a lot of people will say, look, these things happened a long time ago, and we are not the ones responsible for these actions. But look, when it comes to our countries, what Julius is talking about, no one forgets, and it keeps on being pushed. And that's not the same standard that is used for others. The world is so unfair. However, I'm so glad that today every single one of us has a voice. I'm talking to 50 people right now. That's it. 50 people are listening to me right now. But these 50 people are going to learn something from this conversation and this debate. We could be wrong. I could be talking something that you disagree with. But at least it's going to make you think. And that's all I want to do. Roman Abramovich, he's being punished for something that he did not instigate or is not a part of. If he was a part of it, he would not be donating his money to the victims of this. Simple. He is telling you in his statement, I am not part of this. And I miss you guys, and I love you guys, and I hope to be able to say goodbye to you at Stamford Bridge. Don't forget the statement, because that's what we're here about. Don't forget the statement. He is saying to you, I want to be able to say goodbye to you the proper way. That's what he's saying, man. I know it's Abramovich stream, but what are your takes on the first half? Quick 5-minute review. I really haven't been watching the game. Listen. I've got it on my screen, but I'll be honest with you, my mind is not even with it.
My mind's
I think it's
elsewhere.
2-1. 2-1 is it? I don't even know who scored.
Yeah, 2-1 Luton. But I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, the team's playing, and it's like, really. I mean, I wish the game was the weekend or whatever, because it's not the ideal time. I mean, I just can't believe it. I keep saying it. I'm gutted. I'm really upset. And when I read the statement at the start, I was like, wow. But then it was when I read the last two paragraphs where he's like that, Chelsea Football Club and the fans will always be in the heart, and he can't wait to say goodbye. Look, I'll be going to the game. Whatever game it is. I will be going to that. I can guarantee it. I'll do whatever to get a ticket, because I want to say goodbye to for me, the best owner in football, and potentially, I don't know what the future holds, but the best owner we'll ever have. That's my prediction. But obviously, in 5 years' time, we could be talking about 2 league titles and another Champions League. But it's just very, very sad. But it's just heartbreaking.
Listen,
mate. It's just heartbreaking.
Listen, Chris, I'll tell you something. I don't think Chelsea Football Club. They've actually got the statement on the BBC right now. I don't think Chelsea Football Club is going to be unsafe, unsecure. Our future is in good hands. I just hope, and I'm pretty sure Roman Abramovich will not allow the club to go into the hands of someone who isn't going to be able to continue, because and this is why the whole process has been kicked in this way, because by him doing it this way, he has bought time. Roman Abramovich can now sell the club at a pace where things are done. And to the right person, it'll be done in a way where it isn't rushed. Okay, so these people who are currently rushing to sort out this consortium because they think they can get Chelsea on the cheap. I mean, I'm seeing some really funny tweets by UFC fighters and whatnot.
Don't get me started on that.
It isn't happening. It isn't happening. All right, Chelsea Football Club will be sold to a buyer that will meet the criteria that Roman will be setting. Couch yesterday said something, and I disagreed with him because I didn't know Roman was going to twist it this way. Couch said Roman will not sell the club unless he puts conditions to the buyer. And I said to him, okay, he can put conditions, but if he's under sanctions, how is he going to impose those conditions? But the way he's done it now, there's a trust, there's a foundation. Okay, so he can actually not have to sell it quickly, and he can take his time and sell it to a buyer, which he will know will be looking after the club. Because look, no buyer is going to come to buy Chelsea Football Club and dismantle it and sell it for parts. It doesn't work like that. The buyer who's going to come in is going to have 2 goals: one, success, money, and he's buying one of the biggest clubs on the planet. So whoever's going to come in to buy Chelsea Football Club, they're going to have to put in some good money, a big investment. They're going to have to support that investment. I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned about Chelsea moving forward. I am sad that I'm losing Abramovich. I'm sad about that. But I'm not concerned about Chelsea moving forward, because I think Abramovich will not make this deal go through until the right buyer comes in. So let's sit tight and let's wait and let's see what happens, because I don't think we need to watch this.
I'm a bit less optimistic than you on this.
Tell me why.
One, these guys can make any law they want and change it, and still try and take your club off you. They've shown that if they want to get you bad enough, they can and they will. They can suspend rights, they can make up new legislation, they can do all sorts, and they will have the support for it because everybody's on this bandwagon at the moment. And also, I think from his point, he can't come out and say he's looking for a quick sale, because that would not be good and almost showing your hand too much. You start getting some real low ball offers and some real leeches coming out the woodwork. So even if you are looking for a quick sale and that's what you're briefing behind the scene, I think in your press briefing or your front facing media or whatever, you have to say it's not a rush process. We're gonna find somebody, all of that, just to try and calm everything down, not make the fans scared and all that.
Do you think Roman Abramovich, potentially his last statement as owner, is going to lie to the fans?
No, I don't think it's a lie. I think he's going to try and do the best he can, but I feel like it's not in his control.
Yeah, it's in his control, I believe.
So he has all the best intentions, but he didn't want to sell the club at the moment, and now he's being forced to. And going forward, who knows what lengths the government is going to go to? Like he's got a real target in his back. They're mentioning it in Parliament pretty much every other day. And this is what his lawyers have probably told him. This is the best thing to do now in terms of to protect the club and make sure they can't seize it or whatever. But like I said, they can change the laws on a dime. So even though I hope that he's I still believe he can find very good buyers, and all you can do is hope. There's no guarantee that anybody will come in and invest. What you do is you make sure they're as wealthy as possible, where they're not just looking to leverage the club. That's the only real protection you can have. You can't force somebody to invest in the club.
You know how you said something about there. If someone comes in, you don't know if they're going to invest. Let me tell you something right now, yeah. After the love that Chelsea fans have for Abramovich, if someone comes in and tries to take the piss, mate, let me tell you, the Chelsea fans will be on their back like no other. You won't believe. So whoever comes in, which I believe will be under, obviously, with Roman's best judgment and approval, the new owners coming in will be incredibly lucky, because not only are they going to be the owner of one of the biggest clubs in the world, certainly the biggest club in London. Look at the team, a fantastic team, world class manager. The board, obviously, I don't know about Marina. The situation, probably Marina will leave if Roman's leaving. That's what I believe, but we'll see what happens there. The owner's going to be incredibly lucky, but they're going to have to invest. Like there is issues as well. Rudiger's contract, I don't know what's going to happen there. Is he want to stay? Is he going to go? I don't know. So this new owner's going to have to come and invest, and that's the way it is.
Yeah, my only fear is that usually when people go into clubs and they invest, usually they didn't buy the club for very much. They bought it on the cheap. The club was either mid-table or going out of business, whatever. Usually when you put 3 billion straight away from the beginning, they're not really looking to, go straight away and spend cash again. They're trying to straight away start recouping that money. Because for a lot of these guys, they're not Chelsea fans, isn't it? So it's like they're not gonna buy the club unless it's a good business investment. Whether it's helping their brand worldwide, or they see it as a money making exercise where they can, be in the Premiership and make 200 million a year, 300 million a year, whatever.
Well, there's names all over the place. Obviously, we don't actually know for a concrete. I mean, there's one name that I would take, and it's Jim Ratcliffe, and he's the richest man in Britain, and apparently he was interested when Roman had the visa issues. I would potentially look at that. Look, everyone knows my stance. I do not want American owners near Chelsea whatsoever. The reason for that is because, for me, I've seen proof at other clubs, Arsenal and Man United being one. People can mention Liverpool, but for me, the only reason Liverpool are doing well is because of Jurgen Klopp and his footballing IQ. They're not doing well because of FSG. They're doing well because of Klopp. So American owners, for me, are a big no-no. Like, I don't want someone coming in and just using it as a franchise and trying to get money and squeeze the club dry. Because I've seen it at Arsenal, I've seen it at Man United, I'm seeing it. We could potentially see it after Klopp with Liverpool. I don't want American owners. I want either, the Arab, a rich Arab, or I want someone who in Europe. So I want, but obviously Roman knows this. That's what I'm saying. Roman's got the best judgment. So yeah, but no American owners. I don't want.
I agree.
No, Jim Ratcliffe's track record is not fantastic. There's
he's losing money.
Sorry?
He's losing money. I think he's lost about 6 billion.
Yeah, he's not that great. Look, a lot of people are coming out with some things that just I don't even know where it's coming from. If you have, when I was younger, I had a car I loved. It was vintage. I took care of it. I put a lot of money into it. When I had to sell it, I sold it to somebody who could afford to buy it. And a few years later, I saw that same car, and clearly that person had put money into it. It was the sort of car that if you want to keep going, you have to put money into it. Look, I'm not into, Chelsea's 3 billion and so on and so forth. Yeah, that's fine. That's the price. If you don't have money, you don't buy it. If you don't come into a football club without expecting to make some sort of investment. You have
Exactly.
to. The whole thing is an investment. And Roman Abramovich is going to sit down and talk to whoever is going to buy it and give them a vision to walk with. A vision that will benefit them, benefit the club. If they benefit the club, they benefit themselves. Coming into Chelsea to twist it and bankrupt it is just not the way. The fans will get you out before your feet can touch the ground. And you'll be picking up a toxic situation where you might end up losing even more money. So forget that. I think we just have to wait and see what happens. My concern is not really even for the club. My angst, my beef is reading that last paragraph, which still leaves a lump in my throat now. And I, like you, Chris, will be at Stamford Bridge that day he's coming to say goodbye. Because you see, this man, his goodbye is goodbye. It's going to be so painful for him to have anything to do with Chelsea again that when he's gone, he's going to have to look away and not look back. And what hurts me is the reasons and the viciousness behind those reasons. You know, I've switched off the sound. I'm looking at people like Mika Richards, Gary Lineker, Alan Shearer. They disgust me, all of them, because they're all part of this. They were hounding this man from day one. This goes long before Ukraine. Ukraine is not the reason. It's the excuse. It's the excuse. They just saw the opportunity and they've come out and they've made this man as if he's Putin himself. And that's the biggest pain I have in this situation. I can't forget this. I'm just so disgusted. I really am.
All right. Listen, fellas, let me just check something real quick. I wanted today to be able to do two things. To do a watch along and to also discuss the latest developments surrounding Chelsea Football Club. That hasn't panned out. And to be honest, I'm surprised at the timing of this statement. They could have left it after the game. They could have done it earlier in the day. So the timing kind of concerns me as well. But where we are today as a club, let's not be too worried. Let's not be too worried about it. We will be able to overcome this, to address this, and we will be able to get things back on track. My concern is of this happening again and again and again, because this conflict could expand in ways that you're going to see other individuals getting targeted, other organizations getting targeted. So where do we draw the line? I'm actually happy to see Couch Critic back on. Couch, we're brothers, we're a family on the Blue Lounge, and I'm glad you're back. And I'm going to give you the mic if you want to add anything or address anything.
I don't like being attacked because I don't share the same opinion as people. So I'm here just because I'm a Chelsea supporter, and I'm sure you guys know that. And we're watching the game together. That's cool. Obviously it's not going too well for us, but the geopolitics that surround this club right now, it can go back and forth all day long. Certain people have said they don't even know what's going on, but they want to throw words your way and whatnot. But anyhow, I move. I'm very happy to be here. Very cool. We can talk about the game. We can even talk about this particular situation as well. Don't expect me to just follow suit and follow what people think I'm supposed to follow. I have my own opinions, my own thoughts, and they don't necessarily always agree with you. It's just that simple.
Yeah, respect for coming back, Couch. The only thing I'll say to you right now about this situation is read that last statement, that last paragraph, and you'll know why I'm hurting. That's painful. That's one of the most painful things for me as a Chelsea fan after all these years, decades. It's one of the most painful things I've ever seen come out of the club.
Bobby, you're not alone in that, but like I can't turn a blind eye to the reasons why this is happening. Like it's not just because they have this writ against Chelsea and Roman. He's connected to the Kremlin. Just in terms of how you look at this geopolitically, there has to be something. This is the bare minimum that they would do. You know what I mean? It's just factual. We can't look at it any other way. It's just factual. This is the bare minimum. They were going to put sanctions on Roman Abramovich. They do that to all the oligarchs all over the world. This is how the game is played, and his involvement with Putin, no matter when it was 15, 10, 5, 2 years ago, it's going to play that. It's going to play out that way. So I'm looking at it from that perspective.
On another note about this, on the political angle, his name is not on the American list. He's not on the list.
There's no telling that. It grows every day, though. That's the thing. It grows every day, the American list. Like one day it's this person. Okay, more pressure. This person. More pressure. This person. There's no. I don't think this is going to end here. Is what I'm saying. The fact that they haven't even sanctioned him in the UK.
Sadly not. The only thing we can all pray for the sake of sanity, is peace. All this dropping bombs on people and all. It has never been the way. It has never been the way. I can't really think of a time where war has really solved anything, apart from whenever people are trying to resist an aggressor. None of us, I don't think there's one person I've spoken to about this matter that is happy with what's going on. It's just, as I say, for us as Chelsea fans, we have a particular interest because of Roman. And there has been, what a lot of us, most of us perceive as a huge injustice to him. And all the good things he's done for us as a club, as a team, indeed as a community. That last statement, I don't think I can ever forget. For me, coming out of Chelsea, nothing has hit me in the heart so badly.
Reading that statement, honestly, look, I'm an emotional person, as you all know. Yeah, I've been on this channel for 6 months now, coming in and put my opinion forward towards Chelsea. I'm an emotional person, and reading that, honestly, wow, heartbreaking, right? And I'll be honest, I was emotional. I did have a few tears in my eyes because I thought, what, I can't believe it. Obviously, we all knew that this day would come. Owners don't stay forever, but I didn't think it would be now, and I didn't think it would be in the situation it is. So honestly, that last game, when we say goodbye to the best owner we've ever had, and potentially we will ever have, in terms of the support and the love and the dedication he has towards our club, mate, that's going to be unbearable for me. Honestly, when I go to the Stamford Bridge, hopefully I get a ticket for that game. I'll do my utmost to get a ticket for that game. When I say goodbye to Roman Abramovich,
you won't be able to. You won't be able to.
Yeah, probably not.
You won't be able
I'll
to.
do my best.
Every Chelsea fan would be wanting to get that ticket. Every Chelsea fan.
Yeah.
I think most of us would be standing outside the bridge, just waiting to support or to be part of the evening. Anyhow, look, Chris, I don't think Roman Abramovich will be at Stamford Bridge for many a year, if at all. Bobby said something about when he turns his back and he goes, it'll be hard to see him back. And I think he would love to come back at the bridge, and that statement shows that he would love to come back, but I don't think he'll be allowed or he'll be able to come back.
Or even the video message. That's going to be unbearable. The video message of him saying bye. It's just, if he can't be there, he's obviously going to send a video message.
Yeah.
That's going to be mad. Yeah. That's just going to be.
He doesn't do video messages, Chris. Roman doesn't do video messages. I'll tell you this. This is possibly one of the most painful club sales or takeovers in the history of football, because no fan is happy to see the back of Roman. No true fan. And I know there's a big YouTuber out there who is loving this right now, but I don't think he's doing this from his heart, man. He can't be. He can't be.
Exactly.
All right, boys, look.
He's got a personal agenda.
He has, but listen. Let me tell you something. Yeah, his personal agenda is with a legend that became a legend under the stewardship of Roman Abramovich, who then gave him the opportunity to come back and to run this club and be the manager of this club. And when he wasn't able to do it to the standards that Chelsea set, he sacked him. Look, I love what Frank Lampard did for Chelsea Football Club as a player. I also appreciate and love what he did in his first season at Chelsea Football Club, because he did a lot for Chelsea. Second season, he wasn't doing enough, and the fact that Roman Abramovich decided to sack him, look, it doesn't change the fact that Lampard will always be a legend, and it doesn't change the fact that Roman Abramovich will always be a legend at Chelsea.
But that's what I'm saying. It didn't start with Frank. Like he's been. If you
did he have it? Did he have it before Frank? Because I didn't know about that. I didn't know about it.
Basically, it all stands from them trying to move the stadium.
Yeah. Because I think he's a pitch owner, isn't it? He's a pitch owner, isn't it?
So ever since then, he's had it against Roman. But then there's always been like a small Chelsea contingent that. Because I remember I don't know if you guys remember, so the first game at the Bridge after they sacked Jose Mourinho, it was toxic. Like they were going ham. They were going ham. People walking out at halftime. I think we were even drawing away. People were leaving the stadium saying it's rubbish. The club don't know what they're doing. Sack the board. Bring Jose back. This was in 2007. So there's always going to be an element of some sport fans who they just. Either they long for the old days when they were just underdogs and they could just go.
He's disconnected from reality is what it is. Look, I didn't want to move from Stamford Bridge, but that doesn't mean I go and disrespect Roman. That doesn't mean I go and call him, you're a disgrace for that. You're a disgrace for sacking Lampard. Was sacking Lampard the best decision and ultimately the right decision? Yes, because we brought in Thomas Tuchel, who then won the Champions League and the Super Cup and the
World Club Cup.
Jeez, exactly. Louise, mate.
That's the thing. Even if he sacked him and it was the wrong decision, you still have to have some sort of context, because if he's delivered trophy after trophy after trophy, and for me, like I've said, he for me is what Sir Alex is to United. That's what he is to Chelsea. Like the single most influential, I would say, individual in Chelsea's history. Now, obviously, you have Peter Osgood and all the different players through the years and stuff. But I'm just looking at one particular individual that has had so much of an impact over 20 years or whatever, and it would have to be him. So you have to have some sort of context, even when you're criticizing and understanding that, okay, 9 times, nobody gets it right all the time. Yeah, I'm sure, probably sacking Jose the first time around wasn't the best thing. I'm sure people can say you got that one wrong. But then over time, he's tended to get things right and to keep the club competitive to the point where I think we've won the most trophies in his tenure in English football. Like from the time he's been here to the time he's left, I think only Man City are like one trophy behind, something like that. So he's delivered. He's delivered on everything we could have ever dreamed of and expected.
When he sacked that Ancelotti, I didn't think that was the right decision. But then overall, it was the right decision because we still had success. We brought in, Ancelotti was sacked, and then I was like, it's not the best thing. But then, it was ultimately the right decision.
That's the thing. Messi misses penalties. Yeah, even the greatest get it wrong. That's not even the thing. Is there any other chairman in England that we were swapping for? No. When it comes to just the overall running of the club, the money put in, the trophies won? No. So I for one will always remember him as the outstanding chairman that he was. I'm able to compartmentalize him as a man and him as a chairman. You know, I mean, I agree with all the stuff John Terry has done, but for me, he's still Chelsea's greatest captain, and I don't argue those points. Yeah, I'm able to separate it, and I can also criticize you on different points. It doesn't make anybody less of a fan because you criticize. That's the same thing these people are doing now, saying that if you don't criticize Russia, yeah, then you're somehow a Putin apologist. So I don't want to hear Chelsea fans say, "Oh, you can't criticize Roman," because if you criticize Roman, then that means you're not a Chelsea fan. No, people are allowed to have their opinions. Yeah. But the point of the matter is, majority of the Chelsea fans support, love him, and appreciate what he's done. That's all you can ask for. This is not a cult. You can't ask for 100% of people to agree on one thing. It's just not going to happen. And I'm happy, and I'm totally happy with the way it's done. And I think history, will bear all of this out. I think we'll look back, and I just want to see his name sang continuously, at the bridge for the rest of the season, just as a sign of homage,
He's changed the Premier League forever. I can only speak to that.
100%.
When he came in, and
we have to name one of those stands after him. Seriously,
absolutely.
The Abramovich end, the Abramovich stand, or something, man. Seriously, and what? Why not name the West?
The Roman end.
The West View. Give the West View the name for Roman, because that's the one that was recently refurbished and made. Or maybe go on.
So unfortunately, that will depend on the new owners, won't it?
Listen.
It would be a great way to gain.
We can ask for it.
Love with the fans.
Yeah. By doing that, that would be great. Gabriel says name the whole stadium after him. Stamford Bridge.
Nah, the stadium is going to be called Spotify Bridge going forward. You got to make money.
Tesla.
Hopefully, Tesla.
Yeah.
Tesla Stadium.
Live from the Tesla Stadium, Chelsea versus Manchester United.
It's going to be interesting, the streams going forward, because especially when the new owners come in, because obviously, some people didn't like Marina. Well, they're gonna get their wish. I mean, she's probably not going to be around once the new owners come in. They're going to want to put their own people there.
Which is also, that's a bad decision as well, because I know she gets a lot of criticism, but for me, she's a fantastic negotiator. So, and she's good at her job, clearly. So.
But listen. Don't be surprised. Yeah, don't be surprised that because she's also linked to Roman's financial work elsewhere. So
she'll have to go.
She'll have to go. Yeah, Petr Cech will still be about. I think a lot of the coaching staff will be about. A lot of the regular people, they'll still be around. Petr Cech is a club legend. I think his job will be safe. The rest, sorry.
The score 2-2. Timo Werner.
Why are you spoiling it for me, man?
My bad.
I'm lagging behind you.
You really got to stop doing that now, man.
Sorry. I thought you were fully concentrated on the stream. I didn't know you had one eye on the game.
No, I've definitely got one eye on the game, B. Come on,
game is there, man.
My bad.
Game is there,
Timo, though, eh?
Yeah, beautiful goal as well. Cheers.
Looking forward to that.
Hold on. Son Timo Werner's have started to score goals, yeah? Wow. Okay.
He was waiting for them to disallow it or something.
Yeah. Great ball. And guess what, Bobby? You'll be happy about this. No VAR at the stadium. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think if there was, then the second goal by Luton
might have been offside. Yeah.
Wow. Good
one thing's for sure, any dreams of any members of the board remaining, if there is a serious change of ownership, you forget it. The board will change. The board are the more or less owners of the club, and they will have.
Petr Cech, do you reckon Petr Cech has got a chance to stay, Bobby?
Well, it depends on the new owners. If they have ideas, or if for example, they're people that have connections with this ex-Barcelona guy, they might choose to go down that route. I don't particularly want to see it, but I just think it's not going to be. I mean, those are where the changes will come in. You know, I saw some people on Twitter talking about the academy might be at risk. Rubbish. The academy is Chelsea. They're not going to come and mess with that, because that's where they are the players that are going to sustain Chelsea while they go through any form of transition period. This is what Chelsea has been. You know, as I said, you know, way back. I mean, not even look at Chelsea's history. In 1955, when they won the league, it was with a set of youth players that came through the system. A lot of those were sold for financial reasons, and new ones were brought through that won the League Cup in '66. Then they were disbanded, and then new ones were brought through that won the FA Cup in 1970, the Cup Winners' Cup in '71, and reached the League Cup final in '72. Then for financial reasons, they were disbanded, and then we got an 18-year-old captain in the name of Ray Wilkins that took the club forward, and the club went into doldrums for a long time until '94, when we won some minor cups, so they're not even worth mentioning, like the Milk Cup and all that sort of thing. I don't count them. Or the old Division 2, I don't count that. But then we went to the cup final in '94 with a whole new set of young players, and they were beaten 4-0 by Man United. The score kind of slightly flattered United. And then in '97, we came up again from the ashes and won the FA Cup finally for a second time. And in '98, we won the League Cup, and then it continued from then on. So, and look at what happened a few years ago with the transfer ban, where we had to rely on the academy players and a few experienced players. So Chelsea are used to this. It's part of our DNA. We know how to survive with our academy. And we've got some really tasty players in the academy. That's why, though I'm concerned that this transition may mean we may not get the signature of Rudiger, which will be a very bitter pill to swallow as well. I think Roman might sort that out before anything, because he knows that will just be too much for the team. But we still have experienced players, and we've got a heck of a lot of youngsters in the academy that will be rubbing their hands at the opportunity. So our academy is not going to be touched with that, and it's here to stay. I'm not that worried.
I would also say that the succession plan is not going to be just a clean house. And then,
No.
you know, Neil Bath will probably be there still, you know, head of the youth department and whatnot. So even when you got a consortium coming in to take over, they're not just going to bring in every piece to the club. You know, they're going to obviously interview and talk to guys like Neil Bath. They're going to talk to, obviously, Tuchel's going to be in charge still. There's going to be perhaps even Petr Cech, just because of his history at the club. But
I mean,
you know, they're not just going to clean house.
Do it, did he?
Sorry?
Roman didn't do it, remember? I mean,
no, of course not.
He even kept Ranieri for that year. Everybody was so sorry for him because they knew he was going to go for Mourinho. And, you know, he was in charge of the sweetie jar at the time. But Roman kept him and kept quite a few of the Chelsea backroom staff as well. So that's not going to happen. But
I'll tell you what I am looking forward to, though, is a decent scouting department. If they have anything about them, they will definitely be looking at that scouting department and hoping to address that situation in the right way.
That will come with time, and that will depend on the sporting director. If it's still Petr Cech, well, he better get his act together. Or if they are serious money people, they won't want to waste their money. So, you know, I'm just having faith that Roman will choose well. All that talk of this 86-year-old Swiss guy, I have my doubts. You know, the talk of a consortium. Somebody on a stream I went on today said something that was actually, come to think of it, to be fair, it was Stav. You know, the guy was talking some serious sense, and he was saying that. Gosh, what was it now? Oh, my trend of thought has completely gone. What was I talking about?
About who's going to take over the club.
Potential owners.
Yeah, he was saying stuff like, "This isn't Roman's way," and it's not the Chelsea way. That all this noise about the Swiss guy and the American consortium, this and that. Chelsea have never done business like that.
I said that in the chat as well.
Was that okay? I don't know who's. I thought it was Stav, because Stav did talk a lot of sense this morning. He really did. You know, I was impressed. I was like, wow.
Stav talks good for like 2 minutes and then bad for the rest of the day. So we'll give him. But, look, I know he's watching. I know Stav is watching. Look, Stav, mate. You just got to calm down a little bit, man, and just relax when you're talking to other people, because you push people away from you too quickly. Just relax a little bit.
It's sad because when Stav is on form, you'll have nothing but respect for that guy, because he knows.
He has knowledge. He knows ball. He knows a lot. He knows a lot, and and that's why I gave him so many opportunities, because I think the man has a good head on his shoulder when it comes to understanding football and understanding Chelsea and our history. He's been around the block, so he knows what he's talking about. But it's just the way he interacts with people. He just needs to cool that down a little bit.
Well, he was saying that it's too vocal, and that just like when Roman came in, when a sale is made, at that time we didn't know Roman was sure of it. He said if it's made, it will be something that will just happen and everybody won't even know until it's happened. So all this, I can't even say his name, and I think is a smokescreen. I mean, it might be true, but it's unlikely.
I think that's how most sales are. You don't even hear it until they're like at the final stages, or it's literally haggling over last bit of the price. I think what may have happened is the guy may have just gone too quick. He probably just get too excited, talk to the wrong person, and then that's how he gets in the press. Because I don't know if that was a direct quote from him to a reporter or anything like that. It seemed like somebody.
For sure it was.
I don't know. I didn't see the interview of the guy, so I don't know. But I'm saying these things happen where somebody says something they're not supposed to say. They're not supposed to say. A lot of times you can't control that as a club. If the person you're negotiating with is going to go and run their mouth, it's hard to stop that.
It's probably exactly why Roman had to release that statement too, because it's gotten so much attention just because this guy opened his mouth, So
guys, I'm gonna do something. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna do something, and hopefully the game ends before 90 minutes, and hopefully we score the winner. But I want to do something for the people in the chat who have been here throughout the stream. I want to give them the link to the panel. If anybody wants to jump on and give me your thoughts and opinions on the game, if you've been watching it, Roman Abramovich, I'm happy to hear from you. So I'll put the link in the chat, and we'll take it from there. Guys, carry on.
But Mo, can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
I've been so eager to know what's good, because I've not even heard the name of this guy. Is Usmanov not a Russian? Is he not a Russian billionaire?
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Yes.
So
yes, he is.
what's up with that? Why can't we just...
They've mentioned him as well. He's on course to be sanctioned. They mentioned him in Parliament. The first.
But you know why I'm asking that? Because people fail to remember that Roman is already sanctioned. You know that, don't you? How come all this extra special treatment for Roman? And people like Usmanov, we don't even hear what's going on with them.
Because he's a Chelsea owner.
Thank you.
Because the reason behind it is not about Ukraine. It's about their agendas, their hatred towards Chelsea.
Lukaku. Yeah.
You guys did it again? Did it again?
Sorry.
Really? I'm gonna ban this Bobby dude, man, and his podfather.
You know why?
Seriously?
It was because I forgot to go back on mute. Sorry.
Wait, hold on. Sol, Werner, and Lukaku have scored. Mate, this is mad, isn't it?
But you're right, Julius. Which just lends to our point. Ukraine is the excuse, not the reason. Because if it was the reason, just as we've always been saying, we would be hearing so much about all these other billionaires, but we're not.
Exactly. And other causes around the world as well.
You know what's mad? I've just thought to myself there, right? When Roman took over, it was the season after we got in the Champions League on it. So I just, when people say to me, what's the most important game in Chelsea history? For me, people can mention Champions League and whatever. For me, it was that Chelsea versus Liverpool at the Bridge, and we had to win.
That was before Roman took over, Chris.
Jesper Grønkjær.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying before Roman. That's what I'm saying. But that was the game that made Roman buy Chelsea, essentially. For me, that's the most important game in Chelsea history.
That was a huge turning point for sure.
Exactly. Yeah.
Huge. My wife, she's actually Danish, and they still talk about it. Her family still talk about that goal. Jesper Grønkjær, man.
Yeah.
Mad game, man. Mad. So I just think to myself, just imagine if we didn't win that game. I was like, wow. Just imagine.
Listen, boys. Hold on. Who scored the first goal?
Timo Werner.
Saul.
All the misfits have scored.
Exactly. And Timo Werner scores the second, and now it's Lukaku.
Yes.
Hey, listen, man. What's going on?
Yeah,
good goals. Yeah.
I don't know what Tuchel was doing playing Loftus at centre back in the first half. That
made no sense.
Ridiculous. But
so much better.
The funny thing is, I think he felt responsible for the second goal because he's really taking the game by the scruff of the neck. He's been dribbling from the back. Even at centre back, he was driving up, and he's one who played the ball for Timo Werner's goal over the top.
Well, he looks markedly better now. He's not a centre back. That's what I don't understand. Like, if you got to play Ruben Loftus-Cheek as a centre back, aren't you better off just playing an academy kid there?
Yeah, I think he's trying to play a back three at all costs. Yeah.
Makes no sense to me.
But what did you guys make of Kepa's performance this game? Because I'm not being convinced,
He's not been doing anything. Like, he didn't come. What was he? Not much he can do on the two goals, but
on the corners, he's come and he's been good. It's either hit or
he's got like the smallest arms in the world, though. Like, as far as keepers go, like, do you really want him to come there?
Yeah, I don't think the first half we weren't on it at all. Like, there was no urgency in the game. Nothing. Everybody seemed a bit flat. Yeah.
Well,
to be fair, I can't blame Kepa for the two goals at all. I don't think he's had that much to do, to be fair.
No.
So it's hard to say. Physically, he's not the best for a goalkeeper. He's tall enough, but as you say, his arm span somehow, God bless him, it's not quite there. But I can't blame him for anything in this so far.
All right, listen, guys. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Who do you think would be buying Chelsea Football Club? I mean, because all of these names that have been mentioned. Because let me tell you something about this this report. I forgot the guy's name. Bentalal.
So Harvey Vell is a baller. Sorry, guys.
He's doing all right. He's doing bits.
We have the academy guys to take us through any crisis. Sorry, I'll keep my mouth shut.
We'll be doing all right. We'll be doing all right. Julius, we spoke about Bentalal. That story turned out to be not so accurate. It turned out to be one that was pushed, but it wasn't an accurate story. However, someone of that caliber, someone with that kind of money coming in to buy Chelsea Football Club, because look, Roman Abramovich, financially secure, financially doing fantastic. But at the same time, he's a businessman. He's got companies, he's got business, he's got assets. However, some of these other millionaires, billionaires that we're talking about, they have countries behind them. Literally have countries behind them. So do you think Chelsea could potentially end up being owned by a country?
That would be
how would that look?
I wanted to speak about this. Oh, sorry, Bobby, go.
So I'm really sorry to cut you short, Julius, and I'll just jump in and just say one thing. Honestly, in the current climate, financially, and with what other clubs are doing, it's the only thing that will make sense. He's not going to sell to another billionaire because, funnily enough, being a billionaire, unlike his time, is not enough money, especially for a club like Chelsea. So they're going to have to go to a country. What country that will be, I don't know. But it's got to be people with some zeros more than him. It's the only thing that makes sense. And it's the only reason why he's elongated the sale.
Yeah,
I'll say this.
Go
I
on,
don't
Julius.
know if that's necessarily. Sorry, I just want to jump on the back. I don't know if that's necessarily true, just based on the fact that we don't necessarily need the deep pockets anymore because he's obviously, pardoned the debt, and then he's also, any sale is going like it's less about who has the deepest pockets now. It's more about who he feels is best suited for this club, which is a great position to be in, to be honest, rather than like, okay, well, it's going to cost $4 billion to buy this club outright. Who has that money? It's more about who can actually take this team forward now. This club.
This guy that's looking to buy the club. Him and this other American dude, I forget the names, Wise or Wizzy or whatever his name is. His net value is $5.8 billion. He can't even afford to buy the club. He can't afford to buy the club. We're talking about Bin Talal. Bin Talal's his assets as of last year, I think, is 38 point something billion pounds.
Mo, but remember, the Glazers couldn't afford to really buy Man United either. But they borrowed the money and they bought the club, So
no, but I don't look. Exactly, we're not going to get people who are going to take out a mortgage so they can buy Chelsea Football Club, mate. We're going to get. I want to hear from Julius, and then I want to hear from Gabriel because you mans are taking the piss with Julius, man. I've been trying to get him to say something. So let me hear from Julius, and then we'll hear from Gabriel. Go on, Julius.
Sorry, Julius, that's me. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. I wanted actually to bring this topic up a little bit earlier because one of my biggest concerns is if we get bought by consortiums, and that is basically going to be the end of Chelsea's successful story. And the reason why, in my opinion, no matter how much money that consortium would have, by the way, when you are owned by multiple parties, any decisions that is going to be taken at the club is going to be very complicated to get it through because you're going to have all these people involved, not one owner. So when you have an owner like Roman Abramovich or in the City case or PSG case, why are we such financial powerhouses in the game and transfer windows and many things? It's because it's so easy for one guy to do whatever he wants. He make a decision. He knows what's going to be good for him and what's bad. Get it done. That's it. No questions asked. With these consortiums, there is so much involved. There is different interests, different visions, different agendas. And even when it comes to appointing managers or CFOs or many other fields within the club is going to be very complicated, may not be beneficial for us long term. The other thing I want to add, and I said this last night, I don't want American owners at all, or Canadian, anything North American, no thank you. Because these guys, they do not understand the culture of football in Europe at all. They have no clue. And they're so business oriented. That's all they care about. You could look at Arsenal and Man United. The fans, people here follow sports for fun. They jump from a team to another. They follow players. They don't. There is no loyalty.
Pretty broad generalization there. Pretty broad.
This is very accurate.
Pretty broad.
Especially, for example, look at for example, if you have a superstar in a specific team, he moves around, many people will follow him. That doesn't happen that often in football. Only in the Ronaldo, Messi sphere.
Still happens though. Like you're making a broad, sweeping statement right now. Really, pretty broad.
Can you deny that sports in America are different than sports in Europe?
No, I will never deny that. But I think that when you're making a generalization where you're saying that you don't want Americans or Canadians because they have this opinion of sport and they don't understand it, and that's, I don't know. I feel like if you bought Chelsea, we'd be okay. Yeah.
Couch. Let me say this to you. Julius doesn't know what he's talking about. Julius doesn't know what he's talking about. Let me say this: the journalists, the pundits, the people who are talking about the sports in America, all right, the commentators who are talking about the sport in America, right? Just listen to them for 5 minutes and then tell me that they know what football is about.
Bro,
and these are people getting paid. These are people get these are no
or any of these other guys. Like it's a Jamie
Carragher and Redknapp, they played this the game for years. They know more about the sport than me.
Because they walk
what I'm saying is these people, all right, who are addressing the sport, they are not the same as you and me. We are fans. I don't care that you're Canadian or that you're American. Okay, you are a proper fan. You follow the sport. You follow the teams. You and I are different. You will do a better job than most of those guys, because you are
It's too broad a stroke to say that like anyone from America or Canada cannot have the same sort of like passion as we.
He's not saying anyone. Generally speaking, people who follow American sports, who are fans of baseball, NFL, NBA, look, I was invited to attend a baseball game. This was in America a few years back. And I'm sitting in the stadium. All right, I couldn't tell you till now who played that game because people were watching that game as if they were watching a theater or a movie. You know, people were like, where's the passion, man? Go to Stamford Bridge. Go watch football. Yeah,
exactly.
You've been, Julia. Couch. You've been to Stamford Bridge. You know what I'm talking about. I don't have to tell you. You've seen it. Like the passion that we have for our sport is different than the passion Americans have for their sport. With all due respect, I've got nothing against Americans, but I'm just saying it's different.
Generalization, because if you watch American football, you would definitely get a different opinion about like
maybe
how they love their clubs.
I've never been to a football game. I've been to a baseball game.
The passion at those games are completely different. You know,
I've watched
a baseball game, which is a boring sport in anyways.
Yes, but I'm Canadian. You don't need to be sorry, Mo, or you don't need to say with all due respect. I'm telling you, for sports in North America, that's my opinion, is for entertainment, and sports in Europe is passion. There is history.
Exactly.
It's not necessarily true.
This is 100% true.
It's not necessarily true. You can say that you're making too broad of a statement because when I watch hockey, it's not about like just entertainment for me. I love the sport and I love the clubs.
You're different though because you're so.
But you're saying that, but your generalization saying that there's so many more people that are like you or what you're describing versus that are like me. And I don't know if that's
I'm not the average North American couch because you're so ingrained as well, just like I am with European sports.
Okay, but do you think that anyone that watches the NFL, like the people that are diehard NFL supporters, you don't think that they
there are diehard? There are diehard. I'm not saying there is 400 million North American who watch sports. I'm not saying all of them. I'm saying the general consensus. You go to a hockey game. Hockey is the biggest sport in Canada. This is the biggest deal in Canada. I go watch Calgary Flames. I fall asleep. Calgary Flames loses a game against Edmonton Oilers. They go out of the arena. People laughing and cracking jokes.
No, but Julius, I think it's just different.
You're actually proving my point, by the way, too, because you just said basically that yeah, there are some people that are like that. And like, if we find an owner that is like that, of that ilk, then that wouldn't be the case, right? So,
But there's
I don't
no
know.
examples, Couch. Give me one American owner that is good for his club.
One American owner that's what?
That done good in football. Good example.
Done good in
Yeah, but
football?
they're very few. So it's had to come up. It's had to come up with an example. Like before Roman, there was no
Because
Russian
there's no
Russian
any good
owner
examples, that's
done
why.
well. That before Roman, there was no Russian owner. Before the
Yeah,
Qataris and the Saudis came in, there was no Saudi or Qatari
No,
owner.
but the fact is, there are American owners, and look at what they've done. Look at Arsenal, look at Man United, and look at Liverpool.
That's such a primitive.
Yeah, but then also look at Liverpool.
A few have come in.
What do you mean? Look at Liverpool. Liverpool only doing good because of Klopp.
It's the individuals.
No,
for me, man. It's not about the country they're from. It's about who the individual is, and I'm sure that
We're not making it about nationality. We're just looking at the simple fact is they're not good enough.
Bring in anybody.
Hold on. I totally forgot. I had Gabriel waiting to jump in. Gabriel, Habibi, I do apologize, but I've got people here who don't care what I say, man. So big up to you, Gabriel. Let me hear your thoughts, mate. Welcome.
Yes, brothers. In defense of Dennis, or Couch Critic, I think maybe there has been a lot of American ownership bashing, right? But what we've got to realize is the days of single ownership clubs is long gone. Roman came in. He was a bit like, the Jack Walker of Blackburn Rovers days. A local lad came in, pumped his money in. Blackburn Rovers won the club, the Premier League. Roman came in, revolutionized football, and then all the other type of investments came in from into other clubs. At the end of the day, this is the end of an era. And maybe, as much as it's painful to accept, we're not going to get a single owner. We're not going to get a single owner owning a top club anymore. It's always going to be a consortium, which, it doesn't sit well with me. It's not that I want that to happen, but at the end of the day, we've been spoiled, perhaps, and we've got to face facts. And making it, I know we don't like, politics is a squeaky issue, even with this propaganda about Al-Walid bin Talal coming in. Look, it's going to be a similar issue 5-10 years down the line. I don't even believe he's got the wealth that they say he has. A few years ago with the purge in Saudi Arabia, when a lot of the billionaires were imprisoned in the Ritz-Carlton in Riyadh. So at the end of the day, it's whoever's face fits, because next year it could be, they'd be hunting out the Chinese oligarchs.
Gabriel.
The year after that, it'll be the Arab oligarchs.
Gabriel. Chelsea versus Newcastle. Chelsea smashed Newcastle. Bin Talal is back in prison, right?
Well, there you go, isn't it?
That's just going to happen, man. That's just going to happen.
Look,
yeah, go on, carry on.
I think I'll be honest, again, without entering into another rabbit hole of politics, we know Abramovich has multiple nationalities. I think already today he was named in Parliament again by Keir Starmer.
Yes, he was.
But yeah, he's got a little bit more wiggle room. So I think he knows now he's just got to get out of it before they clamp down. It's interesting, Usmanov has never really been that close to Putin. We've seen lots of pictures with Abramovich over the years with Putin. Remember, Abramovich was also the governor of an eastern district, I think, in Siberia. So politically, he has had a lot of influence. And I know sometimes we've got to see it through the prism of certain cultures, like the Middle East. If you're well off, you're never going to keep your wealth unless you're involved with the ruling or the ruler. And similarly with Russia, keep your wealth as long as you're on par with what Putin or the government say. So it's not to say that Abramovich is in agreement with all the policies of Putin, but he's safeguarded his wealth because he somewhere along the line has maybe kept his head down and not rocked the boat. Now, when it comes to future investments, unfortunately, we know the West. I'm British. I'm a Westerner. I've got some links with other parts of the world, but at the end of the day, maybe a Western so-called consortium is a safer bet going forward, because who knows, in another 5-10 years time, whoever's face doesn't fit, it's going to be the same old hypocrisy, the same old cycle again. I know in one of my messages yesterday, maybe my ADHD medications needs increasing with the amount of messages I was pumping out. But maybe go back. I think in Germany they've got that more approach of the fans have a big ownership of their clubs. We need to go back to that sort of model, because we don't want this sort of revolving door of owners who have got some murky past or some dodgy deals back in the days, and their face doesn't fit, and all of a sudden, the media come after them because they've upset someone, and they sat down at a function one day with someone who is now a wanted criminal for war crimes somewhere, and it's a load of BS. So anyway, sorry, maybe I've ranted on a bit too long, but look, it's been a roller coaster for everyone. Yesterday's stream, I think MDT was on. That was good to see him, and a lot of emotional sort of memories. You as well, Mo, and everyone's got different traumas from different reasons, different scales. At the end of the day, we're all human beings. We're all brothers. Maybe we've just got to accept that football should just be football, and it's unfortunately now it's so commercialized that it's used as a political tool. And just as a bit of a side point, as I said, with Abramovich, maybe because of his affiliations with other nationalities, they've told him, look, get out now. We're trying to protect you as much as we can. And that's why he's decided to try and just, cut his losses somehow. And we don't know him as a person, but what he's done over the years, he's been generous with different charitable organizations, and as he said, he's not in it for the money, etc. And obviously being a billionaire, it's easy to say that, but at the end of the day, you didn't have to hint that he's not going to profit from the potential sale of Chelsea. So, let's see how it goes. And as Bobby Smoky Signal said, at the end of the day, there's been worse adversities in the past, and perhaps this is a way to protect Chelsea from completely going out of business, because and maybe politically the government, they didn't want an institution that is Chelsea being like a Berry, or because of obviously all the negative PR, thousands of people they probably employ, and the fact it's such a high profile club. I think they've given Abramovich a bit of breathing space to quit, and then that's it. Cut his losses, whatever they may be. So, yeah.
All right, Gabriel. Thank you for that. Appreciate that, Gabriel. Stick around, Gabriel. Eric Blue, welcome to the stream. How are you? How you doing?
Yeah, thanks for having me again, Mo.
Pleasure.
Thanks for having me, guys. Yeah, I was actually late. I saw the statement late, so it's not even been an hour since I started.
And you're 2.5 hours late to the stream, so I just throw that in there as well.
Yeah, sorry. Even if I joined, I was doing some stuff, so it wouldn't have been good.
It's all good.
But yeah, obviously sad news. It seems like the inevitable has happened. I think most of us were expecting it, and obviously now we have to come to terms with it. It's happened. We have to move on, even though it's not very clear what direction we'll be going in. But we're gonna be here, right? We're gonna be here for the whole journey, and Chelsea, will still be here. We're just we'll come and go, but Chelsea will still be here, and that's why we're supporters. We're not supporters of any individual, and yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm optimistic for sure. Good win today, I guess, even though it's not really I don't think most of us are too, concerned with this match. I think we expected us to win. The big story today was obviously the news. But I don't have too much more to say other than obviously I very much appreciate Roman for everything he did for Chelsea. I think he's our best owner ever. I don't think, it's going to take a lot for anybody to come in and replicate what he did. So, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, fair comment, Eric. Fair comment. And actually, I wanna address one point about the game. We've talked a lot about Roman. I know some people are just jumping in the stream now, and thank you for jumping on. Do me a favor, hit the like button as you're coming in. But I want to address something about the game. Do you guys think that we played a very distracted team? When I say distracted, I mean yes, Tuchel seemed like he was distracted with the way he laid out his team on that pitch. But do you guys think the players played that game with their minds elsewhere because of the statement coming out literally just moments, like 20... No, it was like an hour before kickoff. Literally, it came out an hour before kickoff. Therefore, the players would have heard about the statement. They would have read the statement before the game kicked off. And do you guys think that we were distracted because of that? Did that play in the hands of Luton Town, and we were lucky to walk away with that win tonight? What do you guys think about that?
I think there's been whispers around the club about this for a while. Like, they're closer to it than we are. So I don't think that like an hour before the game they would have been catching wind of this. I mean, there's been obviously all sorts of like information in the media and whatnot for a while. Well, what might come down? I just think we played an unbalanced squad.
Yeah, big time.
We had nothing in the midfield until Ruben got moved up there. Yeah, like it was a tough game, and like let's not kid ourselves. Luton, being at home in a cup against Chelsea with all the turmoil, they were up for it. They came out and played quick, fast football, but I wouldn't say that. And again, like they pressed high up the pitch too. Like we didn't have a familiar squad. Like Kennedy's obviously playing left back, not very adept with playing out from the back as we've been doing recently. We had all sorts of players playing out of position. So I would just say that it comes down to just an unfamiliarity on the pitch and trying to force feed our talent, like the talent that we can put on rather than our actual footballing philosophy or tactics, just basically winning because we have better players.
All right. Anybody else want to comment on this? Want to come in on this? All right. Well, boys, it's been a very interesting evening. Chelsea Football Club have managed to secure a win against Luton Town in a very, very tough game for many a reason. Some on that pitch, some off that pitch. I'm getting an echo. All right, so we have managed to win. We are through. Chelsea Football Club's future is in the balance. It's uncertain how it's going to pan out. But one thing we do know is we are on the verge of a big, big change. Where is that change going to take us? Who's going to take the helm? Who's going to buy Chelsea Football Club? You're going to see a lot of speculation and a lot of talk about that over the next few days and weeks. One thing I can guarantee you guys is whatever happens, Chelsea will continue and we will continue fighting and we will continue doing the best that we can at the highest level because that's what we do. That's what Chelsea Football Club does. I want to just say something about the statement. We addressed it, we talked about it, but I want to conclude by saying thank you. Thank you to Roman Abramovich. Thank you for 18 years of success. Thank you for all the trophies, for all the memories, for all the passion and emotion and support and insight and the way you built this club. Thank you for doing that, Roman. Thank you for Cobham and the talent that's coming out of Cobham, and that will continue to come out of Cobham even after you depart. Thank you for everything that you've done for Chelsea Football Club. And I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart. And, you know, I hope that one day people will look back at the history of Chelsea Football Club and really appreciate what you've done during this period. As a fan, I can't say more than thank you. People will be back tomorrow maybe or the day after. I know I have Worldwide Chelsea coming on. Need to confirm the date, but we're going to be having a Q&A session over the next couple of days, and then we've got the match preview for Chelsea Burnley coming up on Friday evening. I want to wish you a blessed evening, and I will see you very, very soon. Thank you for taking part, and thank you for hitting the like button, and also thank you for subscribing. To my panelists, big up to you. For my subscribers, big up to you. I'll see you very soon. Have a good night and peace.